Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Crypto Project, where we are deeply, deeply interested in your financial freedom. Obviously, we're interested in our own financial freedom and really your well-being. We've been walking along for a couple weeks, maybe a month now, that we've been doing these live streams, and we're super stoked for those of you who are coming along with us. But really, I just want to make a little plea. We're fighting to get into the logarithm of YouTube, and if you could like and subscribe, comment below as we're doing some of these videos. We're starting to lay out just a great assortment of videos that we have coming, and we're super stoked. So if you could just like, subscribe, smash, hit it nicely, softly, it doesn't matter to me. But if you would subscribe, that'd be really, really cool.
Yeah. Basically, if you don't want to be destined to be poor the rest of your life, you have to hit the like button right now. Otherwise, you're going to be poor. I don't know what to do. That's why you're here. You're here to make money. We're here for that financial freedom. So smash that like.
Yeah. And this right now, the next 2, 3, maybe 4 months is really, it's go time. It's on crouton. It's now that we're going to make life-changing wealth. But after that, we're going to set you up so that in this coming bull run, we'll have a little bear winter here, but coming bull run, you're going to be set up to just smash it and not only change your lives, but the lives of those around you. So come on the journey with us. We're super stoked that you're here. Why don't we look at kind of these beautiful bubbles popping around here?
I see green, and green makes me feel like October. That's what I'm here for. I'm loving it. October is now halfway through, and it's been a great month. Way better than September.
No, last week was just so much fun. I mean, particularly Friday, some of the news that we're going to look at here in a few minutes broke, and I mean, it was Green City, and really, really excited to see some of these really good projects. Perp is a project I heard about, I don't know, a year and a half ago, and I just never bought in, and I regret I rue the day that I didn't. I think there might still be some meat on that bone, but man, what a week they've had. Obviously, Polkadot, XLM, Matic is finally, I mean, it's been dead in the water, it feels like, for months, and now it's going, oh, look, I'm still a little bit alive.
Yeah. And I mean, what is that one right above Matic? Is that what? I can't see that bubble. It's green. ETH?
No,
Was that ETH I heard? That might have been someone's week 3 pick. I don't know.
I don't
A
know.
solid return there. That's what I like to see.
12.9, it's saying. Interesting. Anything else you wanna grab out of this? I mean,
yeah, I mean the big story obviously is Bitcoin. Closing in on all-time highs. A lot of exciting news we're going to jump into here. But to see a $1 trillion asset pump 12% in a week is just insane. Tell me, where else are you going to see that? You're just not. And so it's incredible. Let's just jump into the news.
All right. Well, I want to just real quick look at kind of some of the market cap. Total market cap, we're at record highs right now, and I only see that going up. We're at almost $2.5 trillion for total market capitalization for the whole market of the crypto market.
Yeah, we mooning, baby. Let's go. Keep it rolling.
Well, I mean, we've only started though, and then here we pull out the Bitcoin, and so total market cap's at 2.5. So this is 1.3 without Bitcoin. So the whole market outside of Bitcoin is still 1.3, but what that says is Bitcoin is almost 1.2 trillion all by themselves. Bitcoin is an asset to be looked at. I mean, it has grabbed attention, and it's going to change. And again, dominance. You want to talk?
Yeah, I mean, dominance is creeping up. You're going to see this every time Bitcoin starts a run. Is everything else takes a little bit of a breather. All the money, the dollars, all flow into Bitcoin. They flow out of the alts. And we kind of showed this to you last week with this cycle of altcoins, or the cycle of money, and it goes from Bitcoin to Ethereum to the altcoins. And so that's what we're seeing right now. You can see Bitcoin's pumping. The market cap on the non-Bitcoin cryptos is kind of taking a little bit of a break, but we're not getting crushed on it. And so with all these dollars creeping into Bitcoin, we would expect that dominance to creep up. This is good news. This means that money and eyes and attention is coming into the space. And this is what we need to prep for one of those parabolic alt seasons, which I firmly believe is on the horizon.
No, that's right around the corner. And what's so good about this also is that Bitcoin still has its place in this market. There have been a lot of those people that have been saying, Bitcoin had its day, and that day has come and gone, and it's not really a store of value. It's not the big king. And what we see is that it's continuing to dominate and lead this market forward. So Bitcoin's huge.
Absolutely.
So why don't you jump into this? This is huge.
Probably the most exciting news of the week, I would say. The ETF futures approval for Bitcoin has basically been issued. We've seen a few different articles. I think it's either ProShares or Valkyrie is the one who got the nod, and it's supposed to launch on Tuesday. It is important to note, like an ETF is an exchange traded fund. It's an investment that tracks the price of a basket of goods. And so these are futures. And so there's actually no Bitcoin that's in these ETFs that are going to be traded. However, this is a huge step towards getting an ETF for actual Bitcoin. This is super important. This is really exciting. I think there's 4 or 5 other futures kind of already in the queue.
Yeah, here we have this other article, which is Valkyrie Bitcoin ETF is approved ahead of schedule. Here's kind of the list, if you will, and I don't know that I can really make it much. It's hard for me to make bigger, but we have ProShares, Valkyrie, Invesco, VanEck, Galaxy Bitcoin Strategy, Advisor Shares, Bitwise, BlockFi, and ARK, with Kathy Wood coming in the last place. But all these have tentative approval. Here I have a letter from the NASDAQ regulation, and it's essentially saying we're certifying that this day, October 15th, the NASDAQ, the exchange, received from Valkyrie ETF Trust copy of the application, and really their application for the ETF. We further certify that securities described above have been approved by the exchange for listing and registration upon official notice. They actually have a ticker, so the NASDAQ stock market is ready to roll, and it says we understand that the registrant is seeking immediate acceleration of the effective date of registration, and we hereby join in such request. I mean, they're just saying, let's go. Let's move this thing forward. Super exciting.
Yeah.
Equally exciting.
Yeah, speaking of ETFs, Grayscale basically plans on applying to convert the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust to an ETF. This is massive news. I don't think this is unexpected either. What do you think?
No, actually, my father, who is a longtime trader, managed money his whole life, he actually owns Grayscale, and he's been waiting for it. He's been saying for a year and a half that it's going to convert into an ETF at some point, and here's really the evidence that it's actually coming to fruition.
Yeah, this would be really exciting. I mean, the trust is what, 38.7, like I think is why we looked it up earlier today. $1 billion is what it's valued at, over 60,000 Bitcoins. And this one would be insane because this is backed by actual Bitcoin. And
Yeah,
you have actual shares of it in the pool.
Yeah, they're one of the largest. You see when they take big buys, they're buying 1,000, 1,500, 5,000 Bitcoin at a time and putting it in their Grayscale asset there. Really,
Yeah.
really.
And I didn't know you mentioned this. Like your dad owns Grayscale. Maybe we could get a little show sponsorship over here if he's holding on to a $40 billion fund over there.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure it's quite that, but but my dad loves investing, and he wanted to invest in the blockchain. He just said blockchain is the future. He researched it, and this is maybe 5 years ago, and he said blockchain is where it's at. How do I invest in blockchain? And he asked his research people from his old life. He's retired now, and said, I want to invest in blockchain. And he ended up in Grayscale because there
Yeah.
was no other way to do it. But his longing is to get into an ETF, and this kind of says it's going to be there soon.
Yeah. It's exciting.
This is actually huge. We've One of the things that we've heard a lot about Bitcoin is that it's not actually a decentralized asset because it's controlled by um, China. And after Beijing's crackdown on crypto in September, the US took the reins as leading location for Bitcoin mining, according to data compiled by the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance. Released this week, just 2 years ago, China accounted for 3/4 of all Bitcoin's total hash rate, while the US contributed a scant 4%. As of August, China's Bitcoin miners were gone, and the Americans were responsible for 35%. There's just been this huge shift in hash rate and who's actually mining the Bitcoin. Massive shift.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this when Bitcoin tanked, when the mining kind of hash rate just plummeted. When I forget what was it made, the Wuhan province or region in China. I probably wrong on that, but it went down to a power grid failure, and it just tanked. And when that happened, there was a bunch of FUD around. Oh my gosh, Bitcoin's decentralized now. We have too much, basically leaning on China for the mining, and so mining gets banned in China, and look at that. Where now it's more decentralized, it's healthier for Bitcoin from a mining perspective. And so, yeah, this isn't really surprising, kind of when you think about all the things that play into it.
Yeah, huge. And here's just an index. It's the HHI for the top 9 countries, and really they kind of look and they have a formula they apply to kind of the top 9 to kind of see, is it centralized or not, or is it concentrated or not, is kind of the language they use. And you can see back in even August 2019, it was highly concentrated. And as kind of things have shifted, and China and their pressure on those mining, they've pushed it all the way back down to where it's actually moderately concentrated. So one of the amazing things, and that all this China FUD actually proves out, is that it wasn't FUD, but this is a decentralized asset. They have all kinds of statistics in this article. If you want to look at it, we'll put it in the show notes, and you'll be able to kind of look at it. There's just, if you're interested in China and you're worried about China in any way, this article alone will put your heart at ease.
So moving on, some exciting news. Well, maybe not exciting. This is probably the opposite of that, actually. Some poor news in the gaming space for blockchain and crypto. Valve, who owns Steam, which is like the largest PC gaming marketplace for buying games, and a lot of people launch there, and it's like a hotbed for indie games and all sorts of stuff. But they basically have announced and kind of taken a stance that any games kind of using blockchain technology or letting users exchange NFTs or cryptocurrency is not going to be allowed on their platform. So this is sad. Steam is so important in the video game ecosystem. This is not a death blow by any means. They could easily walk this decision back as things evolve. So this is definitely some negative news. However, it did prompt probably their largest competitor, Epic Games, who also has a big marketplace, and they've been trying to really aggressively get market share. They drop like a free game every week, all sorts of stuff. They basically came out and said, hey, we think that we're all for innovation. We're all for new things. If blockchain is what's going to bring that in video games, and that technology is going to be instrumental to the future of video games, we're all for it as long as it's done legally. Basically, all the things that need to be respected are respected. And so kind of Epic has planted their flag in the ground of saying, yeah, we're come over here. Don't go to Steam if you're a blockchain game. So this is definitely a big blow in the sense of Steam just has so many users, but it's not an end all be all. But it was notable, and we wanted to share it with you guys.
Let me just ask you this: you're much more familiar with the gaming space, and particularly companies like Steam and Epic. What do you think is their motivation for doing that? Because clearly,
Yeah.
I mean, I would think if you're in the gaming, you're kind of pushing the envelope anyway. Why would they kind of put the stake in the ground there?
Yeah, I think it's due to risk management. Honestly, I think that there's been a lot of people who have been rug pulled on NFTs and in crypto and projects that have had not the best intentions, the devs who haven't had the best intentions, who maybe launched something promising the moon, and basically as soon as they get their paycheck, they bounce. And so obviously a lot of kids play video games. And so I think they're being really cautious and basically saying, hey, the risk reward isn't here for us. We can basically run the big dog and all the normal video games. There's just not enough money here in play for them to take the risk of it. I think it's a little bit. I don't want to say they're not knowledgeable on it, because there's a lot of things that go on in the video games that they have, like CS:GO, where weapon skins are highly valuable and they trade on the open market for a lot of dollars. And
Right.
so it's not like they don't have games where there's real dollar value assigned to these games or items in the game based on rarity. So, but that's what it seems like. They've made some complicated, controversial is the word I'm looking for, decisions in the past on other topics. So,
Complicated word.
yeah, complicated. They are complicated topics, but anyways, that's my guess. Obviously,
Okay,
I don't.
because it just actually seems kind of short-sighted. Being um, really the things that are taking off in the crypto space are NFTs, is it gaming? I mean, I'm starting to dive in a little deeper. I really want to understand the space a little bit better. On this channel, we're going to start doing some deep dives in some of these NFTs, some of these gaming platforms. But I mean, it is such a place of innovation, and the blockchain actually seems to really lend to the worlds that they're creating. So it really, to me, my mind is kind of blown that somebody would in this kind of space would put their stake in the ground and say we're
Yeah.
not going to play.
Yeah. My guess is, and to be very clear, this is like one rule. They have like 13 rules now. This is the 13th of
Yeah,
like their community guidelines for deals and for games. And so basically they added one line that kind of hint this. I would not be surprised if in the future they walk this back or they add some further clarification. So maybe it's blockchain games are allowed, but all NFT aspects have to be done somewhere else. They can't be done in game, or who knows what it is.
yeah,
I'm sure that as this evolves and blockchain gaming continues to grow, the dollars involved here are going to be too big for them to overlook, and they're going to walk back that stance into something else. It'll be
yeah,
some hybrid version, or they'll roll it back totally. Who knows? I
yeah.
could be
There's
wrong on this, but
this is where innovation is headed. This is where
yeah,
I would think the space is headed. So it seems very, I guess, a little short-sighted, Mike, from
yeah,
where I sit right now. But again, I'm not an
yeah.
expert in that space, and I'm really inquisitive. I wanna know why somebody makes. I mean, that seems like a big statement, but
Yeah, and I think it's kind of events like these that you just brought up. The MekaVerse drop was, I don't want to say a total disaster because it had issues that were not unique to MekaVerse by any means.
sure,
But MekaVerse was probably, I am not an NFT OG, I'm not an NFT expert by any means. However, I've been kind of playing around in the space for, I don't know, the last month or two. And this drop has been way hyped. I mean, we're talking, they had like hundreds of thousands of people in their Discord, which is way more than pretty much any other project I've seen.
yep,
And their drop was a total disaster. So the mint basically they had too much interest. So you kind of had to get in this lottery to try and get on the whitelist. And then, so it just created this huge gas war. It was a big issue. And what happened was there's some fraud allegations going around that the API, which is basically the The metadata of all the things. So Leonard, I'm not sure how familiar you are with this, but there's like 9,000 or maybe there's 8,888 of them. And they all are ranked in rarity based on their traits.
Right.
And the more rare something is, the more valuable it is. Well, when you mint something, you get something and it's just like a blank image or like a placeholder image, and you don't know what rarity you have
Right.
when you mint it until it all gets revealed.
Wow.
And so these things, just people start buying them like crazy, and they're going for like 7.5 ETH sight unseen for these, because you're hoping maybe I get a rare one. And if
Yeah.
you get a rare one, that could be worth insane money.
Right.
And so people are taking these speculative guesses. Well, what happened was the API data got
Sounds like
leaked.
gambling.
Yeah, well, this was rig gambling. So this is a guaranteed win for some.
Yeah.
You could look up the metadata and see, okay, I can see what this is ranked without even being able to see what it looks like or the traits.
Right.
Where if you didn't have access to that data, you're in the dark. And so there's some accusations because some people just happened to buy a bunch unseen and they got all good rarity ones. And it just seemed a little suspect. So
Interesting.
the floor has tanked. They were going for like 7.5 ETH before the reveal. It's now under 2 last I looked.
Wow. Have you picked up any?
I don't have any. No, 2 ETH for it's a little bit out of my price range right now, but so
Yeah, especially with ETH moving up. It's interesting.
yeah, it's pretty wild, but it just is unfortunately a very public kind of failing in terms of their drop, just because it had so much hype. But hopefully the project turns it around, and it could still turn out to be well worth the investment, depending on what the devs do long term.
And there's just a lot in this space, particularly with NFTs, and really do your own research. You've really got to understand what you're getting into. There is a lot of FOMO and a lot of hype going into some of these things, but God. But also, if you can do your research, you can understand the space, you can actually make lots and lots life-changing money.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely do your own research. I've gotten burned on plenty of projects already. The amount of volatility in the NFT space makes low cap altcoins look like a walk in the park. It is not to be messed with.
I think this next article could be as big as the Bitcoin news, except Bitcoin is kind of driving the whole market. But the fact that Bitcoin or Polkadot is setting for this Parachain auction on beginning on November 11th, that is stunning. This is really exciting, and folks, we're really gonna take some time, and there's going to be a handful of winners that win this auction, and if you can pre-pick those, you're gonna have some ROI that is going to be in the multi 2 yay 3-digit X's. So we're really going to spend some time in this in the next couple of weeks prior to this auction, and really try to help you guys line up some really good picks, and some we're not going to hit it all perfectly, but I think we're going to be able to line this up so that you can make some doing your own research. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but you can find some really, really good potential ROI in very near future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is, you saw at the beginning in the weekly recap, Polkadot was probably the biggest green bubble. And that surge in price, I think it was like $35 at the beginning of the week, and now it's sitting right around 42, high of 44. Perp was the biggest, but second, not bad for a top 10 coin. Purely driven off this Parachain news. This has been a long time coming. Kusama, their Canary network, their test network, has already successfully done this with, I think, like 11 Parachains. So hopefully those learning lessons will be able to be applied for a pretty smooth process here with Polkadot. But this is extremely exciting. We're really excited about the series we're going to be launching on this for deep dives into a lot of these projects that are going to be vying for these Parachain slots.
Yeah, the first 5 projects to win an auction are going to be onboarded to Polkadot simultaneously on December 15th. So typically what they've done on Kusama is as they won them, they kind of got launched, but these are all going to get launched together in December 15th. So there's going to be some build up to this December 15th date when they're going to begin to be onboarded. And but even prior to that November 11th date, there's going to be a lot of anticipation. And there's more than we're going to kind of break down in this moment, but this article is going to be a great place for you guys to get started and then do some more research. We're, like I said previously, we're going to begin to kind of break this all down so you guys can really make some good decisions as you go. Just make sure that you smash that like button so that hit the notification button so that as we start releasing these videos, you guys can begin walking and really start packing your bags because we're all going to the moon.
Yeah, and timing is going to be key. This is coming up quick. So this auction, the first one is November 11th. So you got to kind of move pretty quickly and spending some good amount of time to do your own research here. But if you can strike fast and you strike right, there's some massive gains to be had.
Absolutely. So that's really it for the news for the week. I think we should probably just call it a day and get out of here, don't you think?
I mean, I would want to tuck tail and run as well. You're not handling losing quite as gracefully as I have in the past. But no, I don't think we should do that at all. I have finally got that first dub with good old Ethereum. I was just going too degen. I needed to scale it back, and I needed to get back to the basics to pull out a win.
Well, I mean, I'm happy for you, and I'm happy for Ethereum holders. Right now, as we sit at this moment, I think Floki's trading at 77.
Even higher, over 78, and it's gone up 25% today over.
Right.
So we the timer stopped at just the perfect time. We needed to end it. We can't have a chance for a comeback here, if not for my own personal pride, more than anything else.
Okay, I'll let you slide this one time. But it's up to it's cranking right now. It's up 29% on the day. Oh well, maybe another
Nice
time.
Yeah.
But what a great, I mean, I'm super happy for the Ethereum army crowd. I don't know if they have a name, but the Floki Vikings, they do have a name, and boy oh boy, this thing is going to take off to the moon. I'm super stoked. Floki all the way, baby.
Let's go. Hey, I wanted to do well, just not when it's the opposite side of my my pick.
Yeah. So what are you picking for this week?
This is tough. I was sitting here considering Bitcoin with the ETFs finally going live, but I am going to. I don't feel confident enough if the ETF is going to be like the buy the rumor, sell the news, or if it's just going to launch it in all time highs, and we're going to see a massive pump this week. That's going to come eventually, but I'm not confident that it's going to be this week.
Yep.
And so I've been spending a lot of time on crypto Twitter. I encourage you guys to get out there in the community. It's a real special place. And there's a bunch of DeFi stuff I've been diving into, and I'm going to be picking Spell. So Spell is in the DeFi space, and I don't want to say solely I'm picking it for this reason, but I want to do a deep dive video on this one with you guys. This one is so cool. There's so much to be had here. So that's where I'm going. So my current price for Spell is just under 2 cents. So it's 0.0196. And we got to have this for the record keeping. This might seem trivial to some, but I'm not losing on a tiebreaker because I didn't state the whole price. So it's 0.01964946. So just under 2 cents. That's going to be my pick for the week.
Locked and loaded. I'm staying with Floki, but I'm kind of I'm kind of contesting. Maybe I should use this exit price of 740.
Yeah, you wish.
Well, where does that margin go? I mean, I haven't exited out of the, and yet I'm losing like
It
20%.
goes into the blockchain, Leonard, into the ether. That is the blockchain.
I'm
Never to
feeling
be
a
had
little,
by your filthy
feeling a little
hands.
off right now, but it doesn't matter. I'll give that into the blockchain world, my offering. Thank you, blockchain.
Ohms in the chat, please.
In the chat. And with that I just want to say, smash that like button. I'm gonna kind of start saying that for a little while. To me, it's kind of irritating when people keep smash the like button, smash.
Yeah. Please just hit the like button so Leonard stops. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's just do it for me. Do it for me.
All right. So I'm sticking with Floki. You mark whatever price, random price you're gonna put.
It's going to be 7887.
Oh my gosh.
I had to refresh it because it went up by another like 0.0 whatever one.
001. All right, so we have only one last thing. I'm going to do a deep dive, or maybe we're going to do a deep dive. I've got probably 20, 30 articles on Floki that I could go through. Not going to go through them all right now, but there is this is really one of those hidden gems that could turn into life-changing. And it's not because it's a great project and they're going to do amazing things, although I think they're actually attempting to do some philanthropic things that are really helping people really find alternate food sources. But I digress a bit. What I do want to talk about, and we are going to have a video coming out this week on the 1,000 to 1 million. This is something we really believe that is possible, even in the end of this alt season that's going to end the year. I think we're going to have some amazing things. So we're just want to say that it's forthcoming. I've been on the road. Hans has been swamped at work. Part of what we're learning to do is juggle a couple things at once, and it looks like we're going to get better and better at it because we're loving it.
All right. Thank you, guys. I hope you guys have a great week. Stay tuned for more content, and then drop a comment. Let us know who you're tailing this week. Are you taking Leonard and Floki? Third time's the charm, or are you going to be riding with me and Spell? Being a wizard sounds way more fun than a little dog with a Viking hat, but who am I to judge?
Hey, that feels like a little slight right at the end of the show. I mean, we're having such a good time, and then you have to go and be like that. Well, we love you guys. Be blessed, and we will talk to you soon.